none of which can be maintained for long. The reality of the relationship can seem very depressing in contrast to the thrill of romance. That is because people invest in the romance and not in the relationship. If you invest a great deal in something that yields very little, you will suffer and your pain will be great. If you invest in something that can yield a great deal, has lasting value and will grow as a result of your participation, then your pains will be small and your investment will be good. The question then isn't, what should I do to make myself happy? The question can be cast in a different way. Consider another question, for example, where can I invest myself that will yield the greatest results for myself and others? This is a much more objective question, for it requires an appraisal based upon your own experience. If the appraisal is based only upon your expectations, you will have no basis for appraisal. Expectations are hope based upon disappointment. How can this be an honest appraisal? But if you ask yourself, how can I invest myself in such a way that it produces the greatest results or the most value for myself and other people? It will orient you more towards an objective approach than if you only ask, how can I make myself happy? If you don't know how to make yourself happy, your approach will be much more subjective and will be fraught with great expectations. It is more difficult to get an honest appraisal with this approach. Investment is in terms of time, energy and awareness. You want your reward to give you greater awareness, greater affinity with life, and a greater sense of your value and purpose in the world, not the value and purpose that you invent for your own delights, but the value and purpose that are intrinsic to your being here. This value cannot be exhausted. It will not leave you and will only grow as greater attention, time and energy are devoted to its expression and experience. Our pleasure is great. Our pains are small. Your pleasures are small. Your pains are great. It is a matter of investment and appraisal. Preparation in the greater community way of knowledge reverses this trend. It goes against the ways of the world and sets a new example for human development and achievement. Now, let me introduce another idea regarding pleasure. This relates to the idea that true value offers a reward that grows and yields benefits for yourself and others. Real pleasure is associated with achievement. You cannot escape this. It is a fact. Things are valued because they are useful according to the purpose that you hold. If something yields value according to your purpose as you understand it, you will value it. Even if your purpose is false and self-deceiving, you will value it nonetheless. Value and pleasure are therefore highly associated. You cannot separate them. If something does not serve a purpose that you value, then it will not yield pleasure for you. Even if it yields happy sensations and a momentary reprieve from the stress of being in the world, it will not be greatly valued. Something that is greatly valued yields a deeper kind of pleasure because it is life-affirming. If the value is genuine, and if the purpose with which it is associated is genuine, it will yield a greater and more lasting value. For example, recall in your life those brief moments or interludes where you experienced your own worth, not in a self-congratulatory way, but in a genuine way. In spite of your efforts or denials, you experienced your own value, a moment of experiencing affinity with life. The value of these experiences is so great in contrast to all other experiences that they stand out in your memory like sharp points of light against the backdrop of empty space. Like the heavens above you, they are brilliant in contrast to the mundane level of experience. They outshine all of the momentary pleasures that you have accumulated over time. They yield more value in their momentary expression than years and years of attempting to derive value from other things. The investment in them was small. The reward is great and expanding. Therefore, the path of true fulfillment reinvests you in things that produce great value for you and for others. Here your approach must transcend your own personal wishes and needs, because if your pursuit is selfish, it cannot yield greater rewards. It is being identified with little things and little pleasures which exact great prices, both immediately and residually over time. They darken your life, cast clouds over your mind, and obstruct the greater possibilities that are waiting for you. How do you know what a great or small pleasure is? Your experience will tell you if you are able to view it honestly with a willingness to change or readjust things in your life. Knowledge is the barometer here. Even if you are uncertain what knowledge is, you nonetheless feel drawn towards certain things and resist other things. You can resist knowledge and be drawn towards things that are of no value, but this happens at the surface of your mind. Your deeper feelings and deeper experiences will always orient you in a true direction. Even if you misinterpret the direction, even if you resist going there, your deeper nature will take you towards that which is most beneficial for you. You will feel greater pleasure as you move in this direction and greater confusion, anger and disappointment as you move away from it. You see, underneath all of your desires and attempts at self-gratification, you have a natural homing device within you that brings you towards those individuals, experiences and involvements that are essential for your development. These things yield greater rewards. Whatever difficulties you may encounter in pursuing them, those difficulties are small in contrast to the rewards which they produce. As you approach these things, you will need to hold this in faith because you have not yet experienced the rewards themselves, and at times the investment can seem too great or too burdensome. In fact, it is very small. You must find this out through experience. This requires time and faith. So, you say to yourself, following in this direction is very difficult, but I have a sense that it will yield something of great value. I cannot tell you what that will look like, but I must follow it because I know I must. Remember, only knowledge will take you to knowledge. Other motives will become revealed and must be altered or abandoned. Knowledge will take you to knowledge. A sense of true value will take you to those things of true value. A sense of greater pleasure will take you to things that produce greater pleasure. They all lead away from the many other things which can only mock the greater meaning that only a greater pleasure and a greater value can yield. Here you step out of the seemingly hopeless predicament in which humanity is mired. At times the way seems lonely and uncertain, but something of you is guiding you forward. Here you must follow a greater calling, a calling you cannot understand, a calling you have not yet learned to appreciate, a calling whose trials and tribulations, though seemingly large in the moment, are in fact small compared to the greater rewards awaiting you. How can you be certain that you are doing the right thing? How can you be certain? You can only be certain because you know you must proceed. This knowing comes from deep within you. It does not happen in the realm of your personality. It is not a compulsion. It is not a violent or persistent personal need. It is something greater within you. As small pleasures and things of no pleasure are abandoned, you will find that there will be emptiness in your life. Allow the emptiness to be there. Do not fill it in with new things. Part of your life should always be empty. This creates a vacuum effect, allowing greater experiences to come to you, allowing your boundaries to be expanded, enabling you to progress forward and to develop your true capabilities. Small pleasures fill up the mind entirely, so there is no room for anything to enter. Great pleasures always create more space, so there is always room for new experience and a deepening of the understanding of the meaning of your life.